This is not just an LS Swapped Miata. This is a whole new car based on the formula of the Shelby Cobra, but it removes all of the compromises and integrates American muscle with all the best parts of modern Mazda engineering. My name is Lawrence Stubbs. I founded and I'm the owner of Sarasota Super Sport Performance, located in Sarasota, Florida. Our company philosophy is to deliver ND Miatas to driving enthusiasts that are thrilling to drive. Very unique. And they're easy to live with, minimizing the trade-offs that come with modifying, factory cars. The focus of our company is the car behind me, and that's the V8 ND. It's a complete rebuild of the car from the ground up. How I got into the V8 ND business was, well, VYEN Miata cooked this car up. This is their design, as a matter of fact. And when they were doing these as a turnkey program in around 2017 or so, give or take a year, I came across the Smoking Tire podcast, did a video on their car. They called it Indy. And once I saw that, Matt Farah driving it, I think with Keith riding shotgun, I realized I had to have one. Just the sound, and the ND is such a good looking car to begin with, styling wise. I realized I had to have one. Basically I contacted VYEN Miata. I was going to build my own in my own garage. I figured, oh, I'll get a lift. How complicated could it be? Probably have to buy a few tools here and there I don't already have. Maybe find someone who knows how to do welding. But it was a little more involved. It was actually a lot more involved than I thought it was going to be. And once I realized what was going to be involved, I realized once I had everything I needed, that I basically owned everything I would need to produce these basically full time as a business. So that's exactly what I did. I decided to make a company out of it. I approached VYEN Miata, originally asked if they would outsource their East Coast customers to me. And I would build the car, bring it up to them, have them review the quality of the work I did, and give it their seal of approval before they start referring people, lending their reputation to my name. And they were actually more predisposed to just sell the program outright, so we worked out a deal. We spent about a couple years getting all the suppliers online and getting all the parts required to build the car back in production. It was a bit of a process. Some of the companies had gone out of business. Some of the parts were no longer available from their vendors. The car, everything is new on the car. So a lot of people think of LS powered vehicles and they look at them like it's just an LS swap, which that's one way of looking at it. But in this case, the car is completely rebuilt from the ground up. The only thing that's factory Mazda left in the car at this point is obviously the body, the interior, and the suspension arms, the steering column, and that's about it. Everything else is new. There's no donor cars. I don't take junkyard LS 5.3s and rebuild them. There's only one rebuilt component, and that's the differential assembly, and that's only because it's no longer available from GM. The engines are crate motors. There's one option if you want the hot cam or not. So we offer either the standard LS3 crate motor or the LS3 crate motor with the hot cam, which is known as the 376/525 motor. The transmission's a new Tremec T56 Magnum F, which is great, a great transmission. It fits the shifters right exactly where the factory Mazda shifter is. It's only off by less than half of an inch to, I think, to the driver's side. And it shifts great. It's very deliberate to find feelings in the shifter gates. It's not necessarily a standard Tremec. It does have custom gearing for the car. With the hot cam, the car gets pretty decent mileage. You'll get about roughly 15, 16, maybe 17 miles per gallon, just tooling around town, taking it easy. But steady state cruising on the freeway, you can easily, I would say 25 miles per gallon minimum, you can easily see 27, 30 miles per gallon if you just steady state 70, 75 miles an hour. The car is very civil. It has a 5-mode active exhaust, it has a quiet mode. It basically sounds like a factory Camaro SS. And in a way, it's kind of half Camaro SS, 5th generation Camaro SS, and ND Miata. The steering rack is a hydraulic rack from a Camaro SS. The transmission is similar, T56, to what was found in the 5th gen Camaro SS. And then of course the LS3 and the rear end. The rear end is a Camaro SS rear end differential with the 1LE gear set. So it's got the 391, the sought after 391 rear end gear ratio. Makes the car snappy, you shift through the gears quick. It makes the car a lot more fun to drive. So I do get asked all the time, why don't I do NA and B and C V8 conversions? And the reason is because Sarasota Super Sport Performance is less of a Miata performance shop, and we're more of a micro manufacturer, a micro car company. My shop is less of a shop and more of a micro assembly line. The car, unlike, and this is the reason why I don't do the older generations, is any competent shop, any competent performance shop can take a new or used LS and make it work with the older generations. But the ND has the CAN bus system. It's much more complicated, and the car gets completely rebuilt from the ground up. It's a whole new animal. It completely alters the character of the car. It preserves a lot of the best things about driving a Miata, but it just dials it up to a whole nother level. The inspiration for the car was the Shelby Cobra. I'm a Shelby Cobra fan. I've always wanted to build a replica for myself, and for me, this is the next best thing, maybe even better, because I can live with this. I can roll up the windows, I can drive it in the rain. It's got air conditioning, it's got power steering, it's got a backup camera, it's got all the modern stuff that you want in a modern car. And in putting these cars together, no corners are cut. We take a lot of time to focus on heat management and isolate heat from things like the fuel lines and the coolant lines and the cabin, the footwells. There's a lot of heat generated by a 6.2 liters of V8 in a small package that was originally intended for 2.0 liters of an inline 4. So there's a lot of attention paid to that. Serviceability is a big focus on the car. Try to make everything as serviceable as possible. We go to the lengths of putting all stainless steel fasteners. In fact, the only fasteners that are on this particular car that are not stainless steel, and typically 316 or Japanese stainless steel, are the differential mounting bolts. And even then, those are zinc coated bolts to resist corrosion. I really want the customer, when they pick up the car, I want it to be a white glove experience. So it's a considerable leap into a considerably capable car, and I want it to be as headache-free an experience as possible. So when The customer brings their ND and they drop it off for the conversion. When they get it back, we don't just install the engine and say, okay, it runs, here you go. We're gonna bed in your brakes, your tires are gonna be heat cycled, the clutch is gonna be broken in, the 500-mile break-in period on the engine is going to be done, and the initial break-in oil is going to be changed, and you're gonna be on your first oil interval, your first full oil interval when the car is picked up. It's gonna be ready to go, and we're gonna shake it down. We're gonna make sure there's no issues during the assembly process, there's no leaks, nothing is not working that should be working, and that's part of the beauty of this car is basically everything works on the car. So the infotainment system works, the display works, the keyless entry system still works. Most of the good features that you want in a modern car without being intrusive all work. So it's a complete transformation of the car. The car is fully tuned, it's properly tuned. We paid a lot of attention to partial throttle, low RPM driving, not just wide open throttle and keeping the car together all the way up to the red line, but idle quality. You're not gonna get excess fuel smell coming out the tailpipe, which is common with hot cammed engines. Give credit to Dan Kunkel out in Kansas. Dan did the tuning on this car. He does excellent work. He's an LS3 specialist, a cammed LS3 specialist. All he does, he did the tuning on this car. The car runs great. It's very civil at parking lot speeds. You can drive it around. It sounds like an animal, but it drives, it purrs like a kid. So if you want the raw, visceral experience, the high horsepower and torque of an American muscle car, but combined with the agility and handling of a lightweight modern sports car, this is the option.